NFL Nation, we are back. We are back. We are a quarter of the way through the season already. I don't know how that happened already, but good things are happening. And now we finally know at least a little bit of what these defenses are, how to target them, who we're looking for more strategically in fantasy. Of course, I'm coming off a big win last week on the DraftCast. Drafting Jared Goff and Reynolds. That stack definitely helped push my team ahead. But all of us had drafted pretty good teams. So the DraftCast overall was very solid. Definitely putting together some really solid plays for the week. And hopefully we're able to do that again this week. Jason, how you doing tonight?
Not happy. I just want the Braves to win already. Let this happen. Let the Mets screw up the entire season. Of course, they come out in the doubleheader. They win the game easily, and then they score 7 in the first inning of the second game. Like, all the bats come alive when it's meaningless, kind of like Mike Trout. When you don't need him to play well, he plays well. And I hope the Braves just win today. Let it be done. Go to the wild card and see what happens. But NFL-wise, man, I'm still alive in Survivor. I picked you had a great pick last week. You just told me to pick the Packers. No sweat at all. I was fine in OT. Everything went okay. Made that happen. So did good in the DraftKings pool at 3 out of 5. I'm now 15 out of 20 picks against the spread. So I'm in the money right now on that. So happy about that. DFS wise, pretty good week. Made a little bit of money. Nothing crazy. Our guy Sticks Picks qualified for the live finals. So that was pretty cool to see. We had somebody take down a showdown based on some of the work we did. Took down $27,000 last week. So had a pretty good week overall, except for these mutts, man. Always ripping out my heart. But congrats, Dave. Your Phillies made the playoffs. Undeserving. Your team stinks out there in Philly. So
we got the best
man, you should wear that. You should put that on for the show. But Eagles look good. Giants are winning without a quarterback, without an offensive line, without anything, with no wide receivers. It's just Saquon doing his thing all day, every day. And I heard Odell had a little workout with the Giants yesterday, so you might get a wide receiver for the first time this year, Joel. So you should be happy about that. And are you guys going against each other this week? Is it Giants Cowboys this week, or is it next week?
Giants Eagles? No, we got a while to go.
It's Giants Cowboys, right? Oh, yeah, it's
no,
Cowboys,
that happened last Monday night. You got
okay.
Yeah, Giants have Packers in London, and we have the Cardinals out in the desert.
The Eagles don't want any part of the 3-1 Giants. Come on.
No, not right now. No way. Show. No, I want nothing to do with that 150-yard passer. No way. But hey, I'm doing good too. I'll tell you what, I got ripped off last week. Xander Horvath did not come through with the 40 points that I thought he was going to get. I mean, I lost by that margin. A little handicapping miss, but that's all right. And like Jay said, feeling high with the Phillies, watching them hungover tonight, getting smashed by the Astros, but that's okay because we can avoid the Phillies Mets for now because I don't really want that. But with that said, DFS was solid last week. We hit on a lot of really good plays. And I'm like Jay, I had like a good 50-50 kind of mix. I was right in there, had that game stack. But, when I had Hawkinson, I didn't necessarily have Jamal Williams. And I just had a few misses there. But it just shows you how close we are to really putting that whole, string together.
Yeah, 100%, man. I had a Seattle stack with Geno, too. Geno was the best 5K guy. So those lineups did well. And I had a full stack with a Geno, Metcalf, Lockett, Hawkinson, but I tried to fade Williams in that lineup, and I had Khalif Raymond over Josh Reynolds. So I missed out on there. The lineup obviously cashed because that core, pretty much smashed. But if I had Williams in there with Josh Reynolds, then you're competing. But I don't know if you guys saw it, but for a while there was a guy who had a 32-man train winning the Million Maker until like the last Josh Jacobs touchdown, I think, did it. But I wanted to hear that story. Like I know, somebody else won who was really happy for the $1 million, but I wanted to hear the story of how that numbskull, like really, that would have been like the definition of dumb luck because he would have won like 1.5. Taking it down. So sometimes it's better to be lucky than good. Or actually, it's always better to be lucky than good.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, not only that, in that lineup, he had like 6 or 7 guys from that game. It was like a super stack. And I'm in a pretzel now because and for big GPPs, like I could see a small tournament really hammering one game. But for big GPPs, I usually go off like you want to spread out because to maximize, you figure you get the stud from each game, and that's how you kind of hit the GPP. But now twice this year, not once but twice, it was a super stack, basically like 5 to 6 guys from one game that took down the millionaire. So I don't know what to do now. Now we're in a pickle. Is that maybe a play? Do we find the highest scoring game, or is that just a weird start to this year?
Yeah, it's happened before too. It's not the first time it happened. I think you can do it if you're really in love with the game. And if Detroit Lions are playing, I think that's a game that you want to target because they've been doing it. Even their first game against Washington, or when they played earlier against Washington, that was a game that you could have multi-stacked. But look, you're gonna have to enter 150 lineups if you want to go about it that way. Nobody's entering that lineup, one lineup deep or 5 lineups deep or 10 lineups deep. So it'll be interesting. I like the London slates. It takes a game off the slate so you can kind of lock in. So we have a nice slate, moving in. If you guys want, man, we do something on Sirius Radio. You guys, if you want to do it real quick before we go on, C and I usually do a 2 and pass. We go through each game on the main slate. And then one guy gets one team, another guy goes another team, picks 2 of their favorite plays on each slate. Kind of go through the slate just from a top-down approach. You guys down to do that?
Sure. Yeah.
Yes. All right, so I'll go first. Let's do Lions-Patriots. First game on the slate, 1 o'clock. You're playing in New England. Jamal Williams will be popular again. Lions are favored. Actually, no, they're underdogs by 3, 45-point over-under. Looks like St. Brown will be back. Interesting to see what people do with St. Brown, Williams, and Hawkinson and Jared Goff. Not a good matchup against New England. Pretty much fading it. But if I'm picking 2 players from the Lions as of right now, it will probably be back to Amon-Ra and Jamal Williams. Fading Goff here. Fading Hawkinson at the high price. But they're all in play. Dave, any thoughts on these Patriots, either the running game or some of the passing game here?
Yeah, I'll tell you, I will take a flyer on Zappe in some lineups. Zappe has some pedigree. From Western Kentucky, they threw, and I think it was 99 times per game. So he's going to be okay when he gets this right. So I'll take a little flyer there. I do want to see a little more Hunter Henry before I'm ready to jump on him, but I think there's going to be some point that Hunter Henry will pay off. So I guess I would look more towards the running situation here. And I think Ramondre's just been a little better. Detroit 31st against the run. They both average just about 12 a game DK points, but let me take the flyer on Ramondre. I just feel like he gets a little more goal line carries. So it goes Zappe and Ramondre as my 2 favorite Patriots.
There you go. Let's talk about the Steelers and the Bills. The Bills disappointing. The weather had a lot to do with Diggs kind of shit the bed along with the whole entire team for Buffalo. They squeaked out that win. One of my losses for the pool were the Bills not covering the 3.5. That's what DraftKings had it in the pool. And you saw late in the game, I don't know if you were watching, the Ravens wanted him to score, and everybody yelled at the guy who kind of tackled him before the goal line. Like I was the guy who was yelling to just let him score so I have my potential to cover or go to OT somehow, but it didn't happen. Joe, your thoughts? Pickett starting, Trubisky's pissed off. George Pickens is pretty good at football. Claypool sucks. I actually posted something on Twitter yesterday. Who's worse, Claypool, Baker Mayfield, or Allen Robinson? Who's your vote?
We're good on quarterbacks and receivers. Baker Mayfield.
Yeah, I agree. Dave, who do you got there?
Is it at football or fantasy?
Both.
Well, football, it's Baker Mayfield. Fantasy is Allen Robinson, but it ain't his fault. Stafford has no idea where he is. He only has the eyes on number 10 at 89.
So, Joe, talk about this game. Pittsburgh, they're only projected to score 16. Pickett's cheap. Najee hasn't been good. This whole team hasn't been good. I'm assuming you're fading the Steelers, but if you like anybody in the Steelers, let us know. And then are you riding these Bills with this high total on their side?
Yeah, I think you got to fade the Steelers. This Bills defense is really good. And the Ravens scored early, and then they really kind of got it together, and the Ravens slowed them down. That's a really good offense. This Pittsburgh offense isn't that good. So, maybe if you really love the Buffalo side, you want to put a throwback on Pickens because they'll be throwing all game. I might be okay with that, but other than that, I'm not looking there. On the Buffalo side, I think this is a good week to go back to Diggs, even though he burned us last week. It's almost good from a GPP perspective. The ownership might come down. People feel like they got burned. It's still Stephon Diggs. He's going to have a bunch of monster games this year. This seems like a good spot for one.
Yeah, Houston versus the Jaguars. I'll cover this entire game. I like this game a lot. I think this has the potential for shootout, even though the Jags are favored by 7, total of 44.5. I like Lawrence at this price tag. I like Christian Kirk coming back. Zay Jones is playable. I don't really trust Evan Ingram, but if I have to take a flyer on a cheap tight end, he might be the guy I go with. Robinson in play as well, running it back. Do like Damian Pierce, do like Brandon Cooks, and also like Nico Collins here. I think this has some shootout potential, 44.5. Jags have been good. They're going to bounce back here, so I like that game. Now, Dave, you got the Falcons, Mariota, only projected to score around 19.5 points going against the Bucs. Brady is not only facing defeat a lot, he's also getting divorced, which is not something I wish on anybody. So you lose a supermodel, you're going to lose a ton of money, and now you got to play in the NFL where people are going to be trash talking him. Antonio Brown's already coming at him. So this is not the swan song that we thought Brady would go out on. Kind of got embarrassed, by the Chiefs as well. So he's had some tough times here, but this is a good bounce back spot. Dave, who do you like from this game?
Yeah, I mean, if you look at it overall, I mean, Atlanta's 26 against the pass. We know Mike Evans is just the man when it comes to Brady. They just find a way to hook up at least once a game for a touchdown. So I do like Mike Evans in this spot. I'm not in love with any other probably wide receiver in this game because I just think if Tampa's going to do something, I think Todd Bowles will play that cover too and try and take Drake London out, which gets us to a point where maybe there's some value. Tyler Algier came up and stepped up last week. Cordero Patterson is now out for quite a while with a knee tweak. So Algier also caught, I think, 6 passes last game, something decent. So I'll say he's my play from Atlanta, and I do like the passing game with Tampa. So I'll like a little Evans, maybe even a little Brady too. I think we could see some pissed off Tom Brady, which might be pretty good for a lot of us.
Yeah, I like Fournette and Godwin. I'll just mention that as well. I'm not really on Kyle Pitts, but decent price on Pitts. Geno Smith's a better quarterback than a lot of quarterbacks in this league. He's better than Russell Wilson. I'll say it. The numbers are out there showing it. It's the same team. I always wonder last year, why can't you get the ball to Metcalf and Lockett? What's so wrong with these two guys that you can't figure things out? Maybe something's wrong with Russ, and you see what's going on now in Denver. I like this game, Joe. Your thoughts? Penny won some people a ton of money. We were on his props on Sirius. I had him locked in as the best value running back on the slate. I think he's in a pretty good spot here. Jameis Winston's to be back. We have some question marks on maybe Michael Thomas and definitely Alvin Kamara here. So there will be some question marks. You got to lock in on Sunday, but who do you like from both sides here?
So unfortunately for Geno, he doesn't get to play Detroit's defense every week. And I do think, I agree Geno's maybe better than we thought he was, but he's not going to be that. He's not that good. He's just maybe okay. I'm not looking to play Geno again. This is a much better defense. I'm probably going to fade Seattle as a whole this week. I might actually be interested on the New Orleans side. I want to see who the receivers are healthy. If Thomas plays, I like him. If not, then I go with Olave.
Yeah, Olave in a good spot here. Now, Dave, get the Chargers. I've been wrong from time to time, but I was calling the Eckler week. I said if there's going to be a week that he breaks out, Eckler would break out this week, and he went out there and scored 3 touchdowns. I didn't predict the 3 touchdowns, but tougher matchup here. Chargers on the road in Cleveland, favored by 3. Who do you like on this side of the ball?
Yeah, he was one of the plays in the running back report last week. Eckler versus Houston, anyone versus Houston. Go, go, go. And he really did show up. That was a nice game. But, yeah, it's a little tougher this week. Cleveland is allowing 113 yards per game on the ground, so I could see some value in him. But I'm more in love with the Nick Chubb. Nick is just a monster. He's beastly in the NFL. Rushing yards, 30th. LA Chargers are 30th in fantasy running back points allowed. So I like Chubb. On the other side, I do think Herbert's starting to come around. What I've learned and what we've heard about this rib cartilage issue is that it's going to just get better every single weekend. Pain tolerance. His probably peak was that game against Jacksonville. Looked good last week. Let's go with some Herbert, Mike Williams again, because Williams, as long as Keenan Allen's out, I think we're going to find some value in Mike Williams. He was really good last week, and he's averaging almost 15 points a game, and that was early on when he was getting nothing. He's starting to explode now.
Yeah, don't forget about Gerald Everett, too. I think the guy's been playing Njoku as well, kind of cheap option. Bears, Vikings, Joe, if you wanted to say, screw the Bears, we don't need to talk about them, go right ahead. They're kind of bad offensively, but maybe, some Vikings might be in your lineups here. So your thoughts?
Actually, I do think whoever starts at running back for the Bears could be in play. I think this Vikings defense is poor. They're going to establish the run. They usually feature a back. So if Montgomery's out, I actually like Herbert at a discounted price. On the other side of the ball, Justin Jefferson's going to be a top 5 play every week, pretty much going out. So there's always going to be some lineups you want to find a way to play Justin Jefferson. I think this lineup is this week, and the Bears defense is no exception.
Yeah, next game on the slate, just making sure the Braves win this game. It's got one more half inning here. Titans are without the rookie Treylon Burks, so Robert Woods, Westbrook Akini will be in play. I think Derrick Henry, this will be a good spot from him if you want to pay up A2. I do not like Ryan Tannehill. Surprised the Titans are only favored by 2.5 because his defense is legit. No Carson Wentz for me. Curtis Samuel, pretty much the only guy for Washington that I have interest in. I think Tennessee's defense is in play against Carson Wentz as well. Not really loading up on the Commanders here. I believe in this Titans defense, so this is pretty much a fade game for me with a 42.5 over under, maybe some betting markings, but I do like the Tennessee side. Now sliding to Miami and the Jets here. Bridgewater most likely going to start again here for Tua. Hope he's doing better. Zach Wilson still sucks. I don't care what anybody says. He's still terrible. I know he caught a pass. Tony called it that Zach Wilson would score a touchdown in the game, and the trickery got him, so Tony cashed a nice little prop on that. But, Dave, thoughts here? Do you want to go with the Miami stack potentially with, the backup with Teddy Two Gloves throwing the ball to Tyreek and Waddle?
Yeah, I do. I think, to be honest with you, this could be an interesting game stack. We've seen situations with the Jets lately, and they're not very good defensively, and we know what Miami is defensively. Not very good as well, and they want to play a little fast pace. I could see a way you could get Bridgewater and Zach Wilson, maybe not in the same lineup, obviously, but as you mix lineups, you can be scared of Wilson, and I get it, but they're going to throw the ball a lot, and I have faith. Last game, we saw some targets. Corey Davis came back out of nowhere, right? Got 7 targets. Garrett Wilson still got his 6 targets. And Conklin's getting them all over the place. So I like those 3. And on the Miami side, how can you not love Tyreek Hill? I mean, just let the guy run and just throw it up there. And I think Bridgewater will. And he got, 10 catches in the game last week in Cincinnati. So I still like some Waddle, Hill, and Bridgewater. And this will sound crazy. I actually think Miami's a little better with Bridgewater than Tua.
Yeah, it could be the thing. I think the wide receiver for the Jets side actually lines up well against all teams, but I just don't believe in Zach Wilson. Hall, Carter, Conklin. This offense is so good. Like, if they drafted anybody but Zach Wilson, probably would have been a good team here. Niners defense looked legit on Sunday or on Monday night against the Rams. Shut down everything. Stafford was just getting sacked on every other play. Garoppolo did his thing. Debo, probably the best athlete in the game, or one of the best athletes in the game, man. Like, anytime he touches the ball, this could be the one he breaks. And, that was a good defense in LA, and he just ran past everybody. So Debo always in play. No price adjustment at Jeff Wilson. I think he's super interesting at 5.5. Love the Niners D here. If you can shut down the Rams and Sean McVay, good chance you can shut down the Panthers and Baker Mayfield here. So I think San Fran D, if you want to pay up. I don't understand why people get upset at George Kittle. Like, why are you playing him in DFS? Why do you have him on your fantasy team? He's an offensive lineman. And, like, people even in our Discord are like, upset about, even in a showdown, I wouldn't play him because it's just most likely not going to work out for you. So don't play George Kittle unless Debo's out. Ayuk's in play. Garoppolo, 5.4. I just think San Fran's going to be up by too much in this game. Nobody from Carolina. I'm skipping that. But, Joe, looks like Cooper Rush gets another game. They're underdogs here by 4.5. The Rams need to figure things out. To get right spot for the Rams, Cam Akers is he had like a little bit of hype and it kind of burned out. Who do you like on the Rams side outside of Cooper Kupp and maybe some Tyler Higbee?
Well, listen, this Rams offensive line has concerns, and this Cowboys defensive line is good. So I think the Cowboys are going to give them trouble. I think this is a spot where you can stay away. I don't think you need to play the Rams. I think the Rams need to figure some things out right now. Of course, for regular fantasy and whatnot, if you have Kupp, he's a must play. You don't not play Kupp, but I think you can look elsewhere if you're looking for salaries and DFS lineups.
Yeah, let's go to the next game. Dave, I'll let you talk about it. It's the Eagles and the Cardinals. And after this game, we'll get into the DraftCast and go over some survivor picks that we like for this week. Eagles, Cardinals. Could this be a letdown spot, or are the Cardinals really that bad?
Cardinals are really that bad, and yes, it still could be a letdown spot. So I do think this is a situation. I think this game should be closer to 2 or 3 points, to be honest with you. And it's 5, so that's a lot of the market just falling in love with the Eagles. So just be careful there. But looking at this game, my favorite part of this game is the tight ends. Arizona is horrible against guarding tight ends. Dallas Goedert should have a feast, and Zach Ertz coming back to play his Eagles. He's still back here donating a lot of money locally. I think he could have another big game. He's getting a ton of targets. And then I think the running games can be in play too. So, oh, yeah, Ed, I'm with you. You know, he was doing that gritty, like he's going right to that Cougar's house afterwards. But, yeah, I do think the Eagles running game, I like that. I think Hurts is going to be good in the running game this week, and I like both tight ends.
Yeah, one thing I'll mention about Hurts, everybody's jumping on the Hurts bandwagon and talking about how good he is, but I like the mindset, man. I seen his interview that he did the other day at his house or whatever the case may be. He's got like a picture of whatever team he was at Oklahoma before, where he like the Alabama version of him is like giving a pat on the back to the Oklahoma one. So he had like the images together, like that mindset kind of hit. And he had some shirt on too that was talking like a little bit of trash, but like in a smart way. So like you can tell this guy's a gamer. And Dave, if you want to speak on it, you probably know about this better than me, but he's actually got the right mindset to be a quarterback and be a leader. And I can see how he progresses and is going to get better from here.
Well, he's been humbled, right? He was in the national championship game and they were losing at halftime and they brought in Tua Tagovailoa. But, then who knew who that was, right? And Alabama goes on to win the national championship while Hurts sits on the sideline and transfers to Oklahoma the next year. So he's been humbled. I think that just is a big part of his life, and he's been able to adjust from that and make him a better person. He really is. And, crazy to think right now, Oklahoma had 3 quarterbacks in a row that could have won the Heisman. 2 of them did, in Baker Mayfield and Kyler Murray, sandwiched by Jalen Hurts. He's better than both of them. He doesn't have the hardware, but he's better than both of them.
Joe, you want to hop on this real quick, or you want to let him get
right now, obviously he's clearly better than Baker. Baker stinks.
Oh, Baker stinks.
But Kyler, right now, I would have said at the beginning of the season I'd take Kyler, but from the way things are going right now, it's hard to argue that.
Dude, he plays Call of Duty and he's 5'2". Like we're good, man.
I think Jalen's got his number right now. You might see a different Kyler when DeAndre Hopkins. Like as soon as Hopkins comes on the field, that team gets a lot better. When he comes off the field, it gets really bad very quickly.
I will say this, I am an Eagle hater, being honest, but if Jalen Hurts didn't play on a team that had 2 stud receivers and an all-pro offensive line and everything else to make this system work, if you threw him on the Giants, he wouldn't look like he looks right now. But that's the team he's on. So and he's
but we draft offensive linemen early while you draft running back. So it's a little different. Honestly, like it's always been line. Like that's been like the mindset. And you're right. I don't think Jalen Hurts survives on 28 other teams. I'm with you.
He's playing better for sure though. He's at this point, I think he's better than Kyler Murray. We'll see what happens at the end of the game. Talk about survivor picks. I think the Bills, if you haven't used them, I'm going to just plug them in. Probably the best matchup on the board. Favored, I think, by 14 the last time I checked. If it's not them, I kind of like the Niners. I don't believe in Baker. Should be an easy win. They're favored by a touchdown right now. I think the Bucks, coming off a bad loss. Tampa Bay scares me a little bit because Atlanta's not that bad. They've been in every game. So
4-0 ATS. They're 4-0 ATS, the only team in the league.
Yeah, the Falcons, right? Yeah, so they worry me. Yeah, they worry me a bit. So if you have the Bills, just line them up. I know they'll have other matches where they'll be favored, but you got a rookie in Pickett. This team's out of whack here. So I like the Bills if you haven't used them. If you haven't used the Packers, if Daniel Jones doesn't start, it's going to be tough winning without, a quarterback in the National Football League. But the Packers haven't looked that strong. Joel, Dave, any other survivor picks that you guys like?
Well, I'll say this. I don't like Daniel Jones. I also think Tyrod Taylor is going to miss the game, which then you don't know who's playing quarterback. And if that's the case, then the Giants are in trouble. But if Tyrod played,
I wouldn't. Yeah, the Packers haven't looked that good.
I don't know.
Yeah, and it's a London game, right? We talk. I just don't like. This is the Packers' first trip ever to London. There's a lot of travel time lag. Like I'd rather stay away from that. Just my opinion. They'll probably win, but I'm scared of them. I like the Jaguars. I'm going to be honest. Like, I thought the Jaguars were in a really tough spot with the Eagles. When you have to go out west and play the Chargers, you smoke them, and then have to come back here. And you play two good teams in a row on the road and in that weather. I think you didn't see probably the best of the Jaguars, even though they won at 14-0. I think they're a lot better than the Texans.
Yeah, I think the Jaguars in a good spot too. Let's move over to the DraftCast. You know, whoever won it can kind of slide in and take their first pick here, and I'll get everything going here to get the show going.
He gets to choose who goes first.
Yes.
What am I doing here? How do we get this thing going? Oh, there we go. What's going on here? What is going on here? I just had it working too. Not good.
All right. For draft order, I'm going to elect to go third. I'm going to take the third pick here.
Okay.
Make it on the wheel. And do either of you want to go first?
I don't know if Jay's been first yet. Have you?
Probably not, man. I've never been blessed with the first pick, so I'll go first, man. I was
going to say, whoever says I want to go first, I'm going to give first pick to the other person. So, Dave.
All right. Don't matter, man.
Yeah.
So, what do you have, Joe? You going last or you going second?
Yeah, I'm going third.
Okay. All right. You guys always box me in. That's why you guys keep winning, man. I see what you guys are doing.
Yeah. Well, I ran into a lot of issues last week in salary management.
Yeah, we found your weakness, math. We got it.
No, I actually am okay there, but it wasn't last week. Excel failed me. Listen, I'm going to start early. You know, I said it. You just go against Houston any chance you get in the running back game. I'm going to start with a mid-tier running back for me, a tier 2, tier 3 level. James Robinson, I'm going to take first. And he's still getting the majority of the carries. ETN started to get a little looks last week, but he's more of that like Reggie Bush guy, man. I like James Robinson this week, and we'll get him at 6,300.
Okay. I'm going to go let's see. I got a list of players. Who do I want to go with first? Let me go with Olave, hoping that we have some injuries to Michael Thomas. Olave, air yards, good price, 5,700. Scored his first touchdown. So I'm going to go with Olave. Just getting a ton of targets. I'm hoping, Thomas sits this one out and play the upside here.
All right.
I like that pick. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to go with a receiver with my first pick. I'm going right back to the well here with Stephon Diggs. Coming off a disappointing week and a matchup they're going to score, I think, a lot of points. I think this is a good spot for him to go off and a little bit of a discount to the other stud receivers.
Okay.
Nice.
I'll pair him, right, with my second pick. I'm going to pair him with another receiver. I'm going to go with Waddle on the Dolphins. They're playing the Jets. I think the Jets are going to put a lot of focus on stopping Tyreek Hill after he burned them and decided not to go there. So I think Waddle might be running wide open for a lot of this game. They're going to score points as well. And give me Teddy Two Gloves to throw him the ball.
There you go. So I'm going to go with Christian Kirk, 6,600. Yeah, I love getting these mid-range wide receiver ones for their team. 9 targets in the last 2 games, 12 targets in the first game, 4 touchdowns on the year, 300 yards receiving. This is a cupcake matchup, like Dave said. Houston is not really a good team. They stay competitive, which makes them a good fantasy team. They can score some points. They have, the weapons on both sides of the ball, but they don't win games. They're in high-scoring games. So give me Christian Kirk, wide receiver 1. Lock him in.
I like the pick. Yeah, I think, the weather will be nice down there too, and rebound game. Good pick. I'm going to go with Nick Chubb as my second. I'm going to sit here and just try and attack teams that are bad against the ground, against the run game. And then also importantly, it's rare in the NFL anymore, but we got a guy that, gets most of the carries. I know he's still got Kareem Hunt there, but I like Nick Chubb this week. And then I'm trying to pair it up early on, there's some expensive quarterbacks, and I feel like we've been good. We've been hitting some good quarterbacks, but you did it last week, Joel. You hit a $5,000 quarterback, and he was a big winner. I'm going to go this week to Zach Wilson. Not a good football player. I got it. But a 5,300 versus a 32nd ranked pass defense. I'm in, and I'm in with the Hot Moms. I'm Team Hot Moms. 5,300.
Okay. Let's go. It's back on you, right?
No, it's you, Jay.
Oh, it's me. That was easy.
In
All
the
right,
middle.
Jeff Wilson, 5,500, staying in that mid-range. Guy looked really good against the Rams. This is a softer matchup from my perspective against the rush defense of Carolina. San Fran should be winning this game. Game script is in his favor. Shanahan's going to run the ball down their throats. And his price did not get adjusted because he was playing that Monday night game. So he's still priced like he's, a question mark. But he's not really a question mark no more. 5,500. Give me Jeff Wilson.
I like that. I actually was a guy I had teed up to take as well. So it's really good value there with that price tag.
Yep.
All right, I'm going to follow up. I'm going to go with the value here at running back, and I'm going to take Breece Hall. It looks like he's starting to become the go-to guy back on that team. He got 17 carries last week. We know he's a super talent. He was the best back in college last year. It's funny. This Jets offensive line really is underrated. They're actually pretty decent. I'm sure the Jets are going to want to establish the ground game instead of forcing Wilson to throw the ball game. And since I seem to be very interested in this game, I'm just going to keep stacking it up and go ahead and give me Tyreek Hill. So I'm going to go with the stack. I'm going to go with Waddle and Hill. Give me both. I don't trust the Jets defense. I think the Dolphins will be able to score. So I'll take both receivers there and pair him with Hall in that game.
Well, first off, Breece Hall had that game-winning touchdown. Shows a lot of trust in a running back at the end of the game to give him that ball with under 20 seconds left to seal the deal. So I like him, and I just see his value, doubling as the year goes on. And why not go with the Waddle Hill combo? It's already one a Millie wants, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Your turn, my turn. Whose turn is it?
It's back to you, Jay.
All right, I'm going to go with Dameon Pierce. Mid-range is going to get me the win this week. 6,200. Got a little Houston Jack stack going right now. Looked impressive. He had that big long run, but what I liked more, he had 6 targets, caught all 6 of them. Didn't get many yards. I don't know how you catch 6 passes and only get 8 yards, but he's involved in his offense. 6,200 for a guy that I think is in one of the better, game environments, whether they're down or up. I think he'll be involved a bunch. 6,200. Give me Dameon Pierce.
I like it. All right. I'm going to just try and stack my, which way will the Jets go? Do they go to the rookie? Do they, go on some old reliable Corey Davis, or the second-year player Elijah Moore, who I think is maybe, probably the second best of the group. I didn't see the targets last week. And I'll go with Garrett Wilson. He's just been consistent. And I think in this game, we've seen what the Dolphins have done on the back end, allowing even quick slants. Rashad Bateman had one against them. So take Wilson combo here to score for the Jets. And then I'm going to go and get my flex out of the way. And I want to get a piece of Ramondre Stevenson from the New England Patriots. I just think, we've seen the Lions. I think we know enough to stack running backs when we get a chance against them.
Yeah, I like that call. I'm going to go here. Let's see here. Just in case. I'm gonna lock him up now just in case. Let me get Trevor Lawrence, mid-range, nice value. I don't know if Joel was looking at him at the price tag. I don't think he was. I think he's got a different stack that he was looking at. But I'm gonna go with Trevor Lawrence here at 5,600 just to complete my stack, just in case you guys get crazy here. I think this game's gonna be a little bit more of a shootout here, as long as the weather is good in Jacksonville, which I haven't checked yet. But if it is good, I like the combination of Lawrence to Kirk with Dameon Pierce as a run back here. So I'll go Trevor Lawrence, 5,600.
Yeah,
Nice.
I think it's pretty obvious the stack I'm looking at here.
Well,
My side. Now, you did steal one of my value running backs. I was looking to make this work, so I had to scramble a little bit. But we're gonna make it work. So I'm gonna go with Yeah, I'm going to go with Damian Harris, the other side of that equation. I need to go value at running back. I do think with all their quarterback injuries, the Patriots are going to establish their ground game. So I think there's plenty of carries to go around for them this week. And then I'm going to pair him with – I'm really going to go heavy all in on this game. I'm going to go with Corey Davis, another Jets receiver. The one thing about Miami to note is that they do have a shutdown corner. So you figure he'll take Wilson out of the game. They'll have to throw to someone else. You know, it could be Conklin, but I like Davis maybe getting open. There's someone else they have to go to in this game.
All right, so we're putting him in the flex spot for you, right?
Yep.
All right, perfect. All right, Jay, we're rolling here. Here come the tough picks.
Yeah, a little tough, man. I don't know who I want to go to. I'm looking at a couple wide receivers before I build the rest of my team here. And seeing 19 targets, the target monster Cooper Kupp here. They're not throwing the ball to anybody else. So that's the guy I want. But I don't know if I can build out my lineup the way I want if I go with Cooper Kupp here. He's a smash play every day of the week. A couple other options here that I'm looking at. Might be easier to get a little bit more of a balanced lineup here. So, you know what? Give me Kupp. I'm going to figure it out. Give me Cooper Kupp. Let me lock in this points. I just got to beat you two bums, and Kupp will get me 25-30. So the rest of my line's looking pretty good. Safe with the rest of it. So let's stay safe just to beat you guys. But other guys I do like, I was looking at. Actually, no, I'm not going to say it because I might be able to scoop them up, though.
All right. No, I think it's a good pick. And I'll be honest with you, I had a little salary room there for him, but no need. I'm going to move on to Fly, Eagles, Fly. The one guy I do think, I think they spread the ball so much, but this week against the 31st ranked team against tight ends in the Arizona Cardinals, I think Dallas Goedert got to get on the board. We've been kind of weak on tight ends, even though we've talked about some good ones. It's time to draft one that gets us 20-plus points, and I'm going to go Goedert here for 4,700. And then with that, I think I'm going to mix it up. And I think I'm going to take I'll be the first one that takes a defense here. And I am going to take the 49ers. I usually don't like to spend up, but, in this case, it's Baker. And we know he's throwing at least one. We saw what San Fran can do from a defensive line pressure situation. I think we can get some value here with San Fran, so I'll take them.
Okay. All right. I'm going to go to my flex spot right now. And with Treylon Burks out, taking a shot on Robert Woods here. If this game can stay close. He got the most targets with Burks out. It's against Washington. This is a dream matchup. They're 24th ranked against the pass. Situation, nice little price tag at 5,200. He's getting the targets, hasn't done much with the targets. Scored a touchdown against Indy. This is the best matchup they've had all year. They got to get something going more so than just Derrick Henry, all day, every day. So I think Robert Woods, 5,200, nice safe spot for a flex spot.
All right.
I like it. All right. I'm going to go with my tight end spot here. I'm going to go with Logan Thomas. Logan Thomas is affordable. He's getting, 4 to 6 targets a game, which is good. I think this is a spot where they'll be losing. They'll have to pass. And I think them dropping back off, he'll get a few looks. He catches a touchdown. He'll catch value here at 3,200. And I'm going to go with a defense here. I need to go really cheap based on who I plan to pick a quarterback last. Since you guys already have quarterbacks, I'll save that for my last pick. I know I'm going to have to pick a gross defense just because that's all I can afford. And I'm gonna go with Cardinals D. They're the cheapest D.
Dave, huh?
But the Eagles are going to the West Coast. And I will say this: other than them getting absolutely embarrassed week 1, the Cardinals D really hasn't been as bad as people think. They've been okay. They haven't let up more than I think 3 touchdowns in a game since week 1. So maybe they get a pick and get value there.
Okay, that's all you need. At that price, you need 5 to 7 points, and you'll be happy.
Yep, a sack and a pick should do it.
Yep.
Yeah, this pick I don't love, but it completes a 2-man stack for me. Evan Ingram, Joe, you can talk about how good he was on the Giants. He's just really bad, man. He doesn't do anything with all the talent he has. But hopefully he finds his way in the end zone. Look, let's rule out the Philly game because that game was just a mess all around. Raining, torrential downpours, wind. So I'm going to rule that out. Outside of that, he's been getting his targets. Again, not doing much with his targets, but at 3,100, if he finds his way in the end zone, the game script I'm saying right now is Trevor Lawrence throws for 300, throws for 3 touchdowns. Let's get Kirk in there twice, hopefully, and Ingram in there once. And Dameon Pierce is, trying to play catch up here. So going to go with Evan Ingram, 3,100 to complete that Lawrence, Christian Kirk stack up.
All right. Well, you know what? It's just inevitable. And, you've already talked about Jaguars a lot. I want to talk about the guy that I found had the most value in them last week, and I'm going to use him priced at 3,600 this week, and that's Jamal Agnew, the one who caught 2 touchdowns against the Eagles. He took advantage of the situation, and I'm going to keep an eye on this. This is a great smash play at 3,600 if we have Zay Jones out again. His ankle was hurt, and he got thrust into the 2 spot. So if that happens again versus Houston team, 3,600, you're going to see a high ownership. But I'll take that. And then that left me a decent amount here, right? 7,600. And
better cash management, man. So I'm feeling good about you this time, man.
I am too.
You can still roll Horvath or whatever that guy's name was. I don't even know what he did, but you can roll him again if you want.
I still have 2 wins this year. But yes, you're right. I mean, all right, I'm going to Monroe St. Brown. Listen, I'm going to probably use my wild card if he's hurt at 7,600. I'm going to have a chance to plug in someone right behind him, like a Mike Williams if I need to. But 7,600, we saw one game up in New England this year versus Baltimore that was a good game stack. I got a couple from this game. I'm liking the chances of some points being scored in that as well.
Cool. I got my defense. I'm going to go with the Seahawks. Hope Jameis starts. Because he's really bad. Seahawks, they've been letting up some points, but this is just a matchup play here where it's the Saints, man. The Saints aren't that good. Hopefully Kamara doesn't go. I know I got Olave, on my team, but I need a cheap defense and need somebody who's turnover prone. So I think you get that. There's really no other cheap defense. I know the Cowboys going against the Rams, decent spot. I'm not going with the Texans, not going with the Bears, not going with the Falcons. Joel already took the Cardinals here. So you can maybe take a shot, at the Jets. But there's really no cheap defenses that I like. So the Seahawks work the best at 2,500. A lot of variance with defense. The good ones. I do like the Niners up top. I think they're in a great spot. Bills against a rookie, great spot. Tampa in a bounce-back spot should be good as well. So if you got the money for those 3 defenses, and I think the Eagles are always in play, man. That defense is legit. Kyler is running for his life out there, so I think that makes a lot of sense. Joel, plug that last guy in, man. I think we all know who it is. It's Baker Mayfield, right?
Obviously, my pick is obvious, right? I already got his 2 receivers on my team. I'm hoping for the trend to continue where you can have a 1-game stack that just takes down everybody. I'm going for this Jets-Dolphins game. I'm going to take Teddy 2 Gloves to just toss it up there for Hill and Waddle for a couple big explosive plays.
Yeah, I got some notes here, so I might as well say other guys I was looking at. We didn't mention Jalen Hurts. I think he's in a good spot. This is a better spot than the last couple of weeks. I think Brady in a good spot. Mike Evans was a guy that I was looking at. If I don't get Cooper Kupp there, go a little bit more balanced. I think Chris Godwin, fairly priced as well, got him down. Running back, I think Fournette's still in play, heavily involved. Ramondre and Damian Harris, one of those guys will score a touchdown. I can't tell you who it is, but one definitely will. And I think Robinson, actually, you guys picked up. So, yeah, that's my running backs. Wide receivers, Justin Jefferson, obviously, good spot. Diggs, good spot. Westbrook or Keeney, if you don't go. Robert Woods, he's even cheaper. I think he's like 4,100. He makes some sense. Brandon Cooks, Nico Collins, I wrote down too against the Jaguars there. And then AJ and Devontae, if you're going to go with a Jalen stack, he works. Kyle Pitts, maybe. Higbee, I would like to have over Evan Ingram, but the salary didn't work out. Gerald Everett, if Keenan Allen's again, he's the wide receiver too for this team. I think he's in play. And Njoku, he's there with Zach Ertz as well. So those are the guys I'm looking at. Any other guys you guys written down that you didn't go to that you think are in some good spots here?
Yeah, I'll take one and I'll pass to Joel. I just like Montgomery or Herbert, as running backs. Like if I could find some information out there that gets me near game time, tell me Montgomery's playing, I feel like he becomes right up there near running back 1 or 2 for me. If not, I think Herbert's safe too. So one of those two, I just want one of them to start, and then the other I'm fine with.
Joe, your thoughts? Anybody else that we haven't mentioned that you think would be in a good spot here?
One guy that's price has come down really far that could be a smash play any week is Dalvin Cook. Getting him now at 7,300. He's the type of guy that can score, 3 touchdowns in a game, catch a screen pass, run a few in. So at 7,300, I think he might be a sneaky value.
Okay. You guys look at the board.
Well,
Dave,
Edward's asking about Palmer for LAC. And listen, we all love Josh Palmer and his talent, and it's really going to, evolve around what is Keenan Allen. I think Mike Williams will be a nice, solid play. Everybody bumps up at least, for me, 20, 30% if Keenan Allen's out. If he's in, Palmer's on the bench, and even Mike Williams might be too. I think it'll be interesting. I got to see, because I like Everett better than probably their number 2 receiver in this game.
I didn't do this on purpose, but I picked up Palmer after our Win Daily draft, and I already had Mike Williams and Gerald Everett. For the last 3 weeks, I've been rolling out the 3-man stack, and it hasn't failed yet. Palmer didn't do his thing, but I got 17 from Everett, 19 from Williams, and Palmer got 3 this week. But every week, it's you're guaranteeing 30 points between the 3 of them, and if they go off, you pretty much win the week. So, Dave, how did you do last week? You got a win or no?
Yeah, I'm 3-1, and it's very interesting that you mentioned that, because I'm kind of in the conundrum with I have Dubs and Lazard, and I'm trying to figure out, do I start them both? And at this point, I feel like you do. They've both been putting up double digits, and if not more, upper teens in the 20s. So teams looking okay. McCaffrey came up with another big week because of 9 catches. I think if we can get them losing a lot, he'll be okay for me until about week 13, 14 when they, pull something.
I'll add this. If you have Aaron Rodgers or Justin Herbert as your quarterback, you can play multiple pass catchers on that team. Like Baker Mayfield, no.
Good point. Yep.
Yeah. So, Joe, let me ask you, man, you've been crushing the bets, man. You hit a $10,000 parlay the other day. Before we got on the show, you said he went 9 for your first 9. I would have definitely threw a computer after the 10th one lost, but good run. You look at the board right now, Colts Thursday night, plus 3.5, going on the road to Denver. Denver's going to be without Javonte. Russ is still their quarterback for now, till they bench his ass. How do you see this game playing out? Is it a game that you're going to attack or stay away from a betting perspective?
So this all depends on Jonathan Taylor to me. He's questionable. We're going to see what happens with him. If he's playing and fully healthy, I like the Colts a lot.
Money line or points?
I'd take the points.
Okay.
But, I think I'd like them to win the game. If he's banged up or not playing, then I like Denver. Because I do like this Denver defense, and I think if they don't have that ace running back, I think they'll be able to slow them down.
Giants plus 8.5 against the Packers. Daniel Jones, questionable. We don't know who the quarterback is, what's going on. But this is a stay away spot, I'm assuming, for now until we get more information.
You can probably just pick the Packers.
Packers minus 8. All right. Dave, Titans minus 2 against Washington. Any strong play there? I kind of like Tennessee. Maybe even on a money line, minus 130. What's your thoughts?
I like Washington. It reminds me of Cardinals last week in Carolina. It reminds me of Cardinals in Vegas, another low line that people were downing the team. Look, the Titans just won this huge game against Indianapolis, and I had them last week with 3.5. I'm just a little nervous. I'd rather want it 3.5, so I'm going to wait and see if it hits the key number. If it is under that, Jay, I might get tempted to go Titans, but they were 0-2, right? They're 2-2 now. Which one are they? People were down on them thinking they'd be in last place in that division at some point. Now they've won 2 in a row. I'm not sure who they are yet, so I kind of like Washington. That smells.
Okay. Joel, Houston, Jacksonville. Jags are minus 7. You can get Houston plus 7.5 at FanDuel. On MGM, they're 7. Any thoughts there, Houston versus Jacksonville?
I really like to keep it at that 7 number. If I could I'd even probably buy it down to 6, but I like Jacksonville. This is a legitimate defense, and I think it's starting to give me vibes. If you remember a few years ago, those old Jacksonville defenses where they were stopping everybody. They're not that good, but I think they're going to give Houston some hard time. So I'll take Jacksonville.
Okay. Chicago, Minnesota, Dave. There's some question marks here. Minnesota's favored by 7 right now. Big favorite.
It's hard for me to give 7 with the Vikings. Yes, they're 3-1. But they're, depending where you got them last week, they're either 2-2 or 1-3 against the spread. I know Chicago's messy. I know it's ugly, but it's a division game. I kind of lean towards the points in that one.
Okay. Joel, Detroit +3 on the road against New England. Some question marks all around here with some injuries. A little bit too early to look at this line, but any thoughts here on this game? Any strong plays or stay away for now?
I think if Detroit gets a little bit healthy, just give me one of Amonte Brown or Swift. I'm going to go with them. I think they showed enough on offense to go against a Patriot team that we don't know is playing quarterback. Even though I have a soft spot on my heart for Bailey Zapp, I hope he plays and I hope he looks good. I'll go with the good-looking offense of Detroit to score some points against the unknown quarterback.
Gotcha, Dave. Seattle, this one's interesting to me. It seems like a lot of points. I don't know if I'm a sucker. I don't know if I'm the public here, but you're giving me 5.5 points. Seattle's look good. This offense has kind of come around here. Seems like too many points with a very questionable team right now. We don't know about Kamara. We don't know about Michael Thomas. We don't really know about Jameis, who's going to be starting for this team offensively. I know their defense is good. I got a bitter taste in my mouth about the Saints because I bet them 2 weeks ago. They blew it, and then they came back last week and won it. Seattle +5.5. Are you on that side or are you on the Saints side?
Yeah, I think it'll be tough for Seattle to carry 2 straight road wins. The win in Detroit, it's a solid win anymore. Win in New Orleans, I'm not sure they get there. The points are a little high, so I agree with you. I think if I had to play this game, I'd lean Seattle, but it'd be a very, very small lean. I do think New Orleans will win this game.
Okay, Joel, I'm assuming you're going with your Dolphins -3 over the Jets here because you hammered them as far as the stack goes. But are you backing the Dolphins and Teddy Two Gloves with the 3 points?
I am, but I did take 2 Jets too. I do think this will be a high-scoring game, so I think they go back and forth. But no, I'm going to take Dolphins.
Yeah, total's 44.5. So if you like the over there, that might be another spot to kind of attack there. Bucks favored by around 9 against the Falcons. A lot of points. This Falcons team look good, Dave. Any love for the Falcons +9?
No, I don't.
Joel, you like it?
No, I like the Bucks. I think it's I remember a game last year, and I think the Bucks beat them by about 24. Just forced a lot of turnovers. I think it's a day for the Bucks defense to feast. I was close to taking them over the Niners. I think they're going to be on to this Mariota short passing running game, and I think they respawn after that bad loss on Sunday night.
Joe, you like the
It's a no bet for me. I can't get behind the Falcons side, but it's a division rivalry where the Falcons tend to do surprising things and play up to the team in the division. I can see them making this exciting somehow. So I don't want to put my money behind that team because they haven't looked good, but I'm not going to bet it.
But remember, they're 4-0. They're 4-0 against the spread.
They don't look bad. Those 9 points look tempting to me. Buffalo favored by 14. I'm going to lock them in my survivor. But 14 is a lot of points to cover here. But you're going against a rookie. This team looks just bad. Pittsburgh really does look bad offensively. They made the switch to Pickens, but I don't know if that's really going to do much or to Pickett. Any thoughts here? 14, too many points to go with?
14 is a whole lot in the NFL. Buffalo's going to win the game. I don't really have any doubt about that. But to lay 14, I don't know if I love that.
I don't know if I love it, but I will remind you of this. The Steelers beat the Bills in week 1 last year on a block punt. I think the score was like 13-10, something ugly. Just something around there. I think Bills remember that. And I think the Bills have come off 2 tough road games. They're going to come to get healthy pretty quick here. I think they won't leave any doubt. Whether 14 leaves you open for the back door. That's what scares me with 14. So I'm kind of with Joel. It's a lot, but no doubt on the win.
Yeah, you guys can battle this one out. Chargers -3, Browns +3. Either you got a strong play in this one?
I like the Browns. I just think, a team that controlled the game on the ground and a bad running defense, I think it's not a great matchup for the Chargers. And have we ever watched the Chargers win a close game? Because I don't remember.
Joel, you like the Chargers? Browns here?
I think I'm with Dave here. I'm taking the Browns at home. The Chargers' weakness is the ground game, and the Browns want to establish the run. They're good at it. I think the Browns are in a good spot getting points.
There you go. This one looks good to me, man. This one looks good to me. San Fran -6. Anytime I can bet against Baker, I'm going to do it pretty much every single week. I'm going to just shut you guys down. I'm going to Niners -6. That's probably going to be one of my pool plays. Feel pretty good about that.
I agree. I think that's a smash spot.
Yeah, it's like they've looked super impressive. Carolina's just terrible, and they're going to eat this guy alive. Like, I wouldn't be surprised if he might be benched at halftime.
I do.
Either he's hurt or benched.
And here's what I like. The Monday night winners and even any of the Monday night teams have not fared well coming off Monday night. But Dallas finally broke that streak last week and then comes back and beats Washington. And here's the thing. St. Fran's lost twice already. I don't think they have any margin to get a little, fat and happy. So I do think they come in here with a mission and keep this thing rolling.
Philly, Arizona. Dave, I'll let you talk about this one. You're an Eagles fan. 5. You can get it at 5 right now.
I'm a little nervous at 5. We don't win in the desert. It's a tough trip. Even when, some of you might be old enough as me to remember, Arizona used to be in this division, the NFC East. And this Jake Plummer would come up here and sling us.
You're old, man. When was that?
Yeah, come on, man. I'm like 40.
When was that? I don't remember. When were the Cardinals in the NFC East? Teach me something.
90s.
What?
Yeah, absolutely.
Is he right? I don't remember this.
So what happened was
what?
Yes, they got bought out and became the St. Louis Rams, if you remember. And then that's when Kurt Warner took over, and then they gave the franchise back to Arizona when they took the Rams away. And it's all a story. But yeah, then 90s.
Brian saying until 96, man. I learned something today. I feel like that, I don't remember them beating Joe. Do you remember this? Or you're as shocked as me?
I think it was a little bit before my time, but I just Googled it, and yes, it is accurate. This is the truth.
Yeah, I'm telling you, it was wild, man. It was wild, to think that the Arizona Cardinals were in the NFC East. But they gave us fits, and even going out there, lost the NFC title game to the Arizona Cardinals once. So
they're not losing, man. They're not losing.
No, I'm not saying that. It's a house of horrors for us a little bit. So I just don't like the number. That's all I'm saying.
All right. Cowboys 4.5, getting 4.5 here against the Rams. Rams at home after an embarrassing loss here. Joe, you got any thoughts here?
Give me the Cowboys. This Rams team is struggling to block people, and that's not the Cowboys are not a team to get that right on. The Cowboys have one of the best, maybe the best player in football, Micah Parsons, and that's not it. They got a tough D line. They got a good D. I think the Rams are going to give them trouble. Give me the point. The Cowboys are going to give the Rams trouble. Give me the points.
Two more games. These are tough ones, man. We have a good game Sunday night. We should have a good game Monday night, but I'm not sure about that. Cincy, Baltimore. Cincy, came back. They won a big game against Miami here, +3, going to Baltimore. Baltimore, they could be undefeated right now, but they're not looking so good because they're not winning the games at the end. Baltimore, -3. They got to win this game. I'm leaning Baltimore. Dave, what's your thoughts?
Well, yeah, I bet Baltimore win that division. And if they're going to win that division, it has to happen this week. This has to be a win. I'm just a little concerned that Cincinnati's kind of style meets up with Baltimore's weakness, and that's the passing game. So I'm a little concerned there, but I do know that they'll be able to, create some pressure. And I think with that said, I'm going to say this is a must-win for Baltimore, but don't take it away from Cincy. They're only, 2-2 as well. So, it's a big game for them as well, but I'll lean Baltimore with you.
Yeah, so we got the last game of the week here.
I can share.
Big one, man. This is a big one here. Vegas versus the Raiders.
Dude.
No, Vegas versus the Chiefs, man. I'm trying to get this thing off the screen here. Yeah, so Vegas versus the Chiefs. I'm all messed up now. What's your thoughts here, Joe?
The Vegas and the Chiefs. The Raiders, the Vegas Raiders, I have major concerns about. I don't think they're very good. My only caveat is they tend to play the Chiefs tough. That's a spot they play up to. And now they're at a point of we don't show something now, we might as well mail in the whole season. Everything but my eyes says scene wants to say take the Chiefs and run. Everything about what I've know about football historically is division rivalries, teams on the brink. Take the team that doesn't, the Raiders need this. So I probably won't bet it because of that.
All right, over under then. Let's switch the conversation. 51.5. Or Dave, you got a thought here?
I agree that the Raiders usually play them tough, but last year the Chiefs outscored them 99-23. So They scored 48 and 41 in the 2 games against the Raiders. And that was a weird year because the Raiders made the playoffs. It's the years that they're not good, they play the Chiefs well, and the years that they're good, they don't. From that perspective, I like the over. And I actually am going to tell you, I like the Raiders a little bit in that one. Tampa's, that's a tough team to beat. So the Chiefs are probably riding a little high. So I'm with you. I just was saying, like, it was weird last year for some reason. They didn't play them close, but they usually do.
Yeah, so that's pretty much the slate here. We covered our favorite plays from each game. We did our draft cast. We go over some bets. Obviously, it's early in the week. It's only Tuesday here. We got a lot more to cover throughout the week. Me and Dave might do another show. We got the PGA draft cast, Joe, that you'll be rocking out with the boys tomorrow. There's still golf going on, right? You guys aren't just hanging out together. Like, there's actually a tournament and people care about it.
A big week coming up.
How about that tournament last week? That was some Mackenzie Hughes balls, man. That was a good tournament.
Golf is back. Golf is back in a major way.
Okay.
The problem with poor golf it gets is when you finish tournaments on a Sunday during football season, there's
no shot.
It's gonna be tough.
Yeah, there's no shot there.
Let me send a shout out real fast. Brian talking about he'll be 33 on the 10th. Happy birthday, bud. And fly, Eagles, fly. Love it.
There you go, man. So, Joel, you doing the draft cast on Wednesday. You guys will be back for college football on Friday. We got a show on Sunday morning. Tony's been crushing these showdown slates Thursday, Sunday night, Monday night. Thursday night games should be interesting. We'll be talking in our Discord, in our expert chat. We can reach out to Dave. You can reach out to myself, Joel, and everybody on our team. Check out the projection models, the lineup optimizer. These are the tools that we use every single day to build our lineups here. It gives ownership projections. Lock in for free with promo code WINBIG. Joel, last thought, man. Who's going to be on the Millie Maker? I'm assuming it's somebody from your team you drafted, but let's each go out with a Millie Maker play that you're going to need to have in your stacks.
I'm actually going to go with someone I didn't draft. I'm going to go with Nick Chubb.
Okay. Dave, who do you got, man?
I'm going to go with Nick Chubb because I drafted him. No, honestly, I like that stack in the Jets game. I think you're going to have to get one of them right. And I'm actually going to be with Joel on this one. I'm going to go Jalen Waddle. I think he responds this week with like a 25, 30-plus week. So I think Waddle's going to have a big week.
Yeah, I'll go with Christian Kirk, man. I'm going to have confidence with my team. Of course, the Mets are hitting. They're up 8-0. Alvarez hits his first home run as a major leaguer here. But, Joe, shout out to your Yankees, man. Judge hit his 62nd. You should be in Texas right now catching balls, man. That should be where you're at right now.
Did they actually catch it?
Yeah, somebody caught it, man. Not only did somebody catch it, but let's not call him an idiot, but some guy who's like 10 feet away hopped out of the stands hoping the ball would like fall in between that first row and like
what happened to Toronto.
Yeah. So he jumped off. It's a high wall. I don't think it's like a 5-foot landing there, like maybe in LA or somewhere where it's like a closer stands. Like he literally jumped like it's got to be like a 15, 20-foot drop. So hopefully that dude's okay. We'll see what happens though. It's been a good show so far. Everybody check us out at windailysports.com. Joel, good luck in your games this week in PGA. Hit another 10-team parlay, man. Go out there and it's easy, right? You do 9 for 9, 10 for 10.
Yeah.
You don't text me any of these plays, man. That's the messed up parlay. You don't text me. Dave don't text me. You guys just win money and just keep it all for yourself. Nice guys you are, man. Any last thoughts, Dave?
Joel, I'm just in the lab, man. I don't have time to text. That's what I keep telling them.
Well, in fairness, I just spent an hour telling you every team I like.
Let me go rewind the tape. I didn't take the notes, man. I didn't take the notes. I asked Dave this yesterday, Joe. Yesterday, day before, he forced me to do an MLB pod after the Mets got swept by the Braves. Good friend he is. Who wins the World Series? Let's talk about it real quick. Playoffs going to start in a couple of days. Your Yankees going to take it down, or what's your thoughts?
I know. It's actually funny that I've never corrected you. I'm a Mets fan. So I don't dislike the Yankees. I'm a Mets fan.
So you're a Met. For whatever reason, I thought you were a Yankee fan, man. You're living in Jersey. I thought you were a Yankee fan, man. No, I'm a Met fan too, man. It's been brutal. Really been brutal, man. This is a bad weekend. The Marlins tried their best to kind of hold on. So you got the Mets winning it all, or we're out in the first 2 rounds?
I'm a homer. I want the Mets to win it all. I'm gonna say the Mets, but I guess if I had to put my money on it, I'd take Houston.
Yeah, I think Houston. Dave, you going with your Phillies, bro? You going Phillies Rays?
No. But they will be an interesting team because they can hit and they have some heavy pitching up front. But like I told you last night, Braves are probably the team, and I hate to say, I mean, look, we all hate to say it. But that team, I think, is better this year than last, and they got the right manager. So the Dodgers don't scare me. It's crazy. Like, I know they're number one in hitting, number one in pitching, best bullpen. Like, it's sick. They had the biggest run differential since like 1920, Babe Ruth time. But for some reason, they don't scare me.
Yeah, I think the Astros clear-cut favorite. I wouldn't be shocked if the Mets and Yankees make it a Subway Series. Braves are good. Phillies could hang in there with Nola and Wheeler leading the charge there. Suarez has been pitching better. They have a good offense, so we'll see what happens. I think Dave made a sneaky call. Don't count out these Rays. Like, if you're going to take a long shot bet to make the World Series, I like them to make the World Series. Whether they win or not, that's yet to be seen. But I think the Rays are a sneaky dark horse team. Like, if there was two dark horse teams, I would say based on the odds would be the Rays and the Cardinals.
Mm-hmm.
Cardinals have the pedigree. Just, they figure shit out every single year. They scare me probably worse than any other team in the National League, even though the Braves and Dodgers are the pedigree, the better teams here. The Cardinals scare me. It's not about the talent. It's about the pedigree in that organization. So they worry me. But we're talking NFL, so let's get off. Let's get out of here. Good luck to everyone's games. We'll see you next week.